What's going on, y'all? Today I'm going to be talking about the migrant crisis that is going on in the United States. The border crisis, migrant crisis, whatever you want to call it. It's a crisis. And I want to talk about the two sides that I see. The side of the migrant and the side of the citizens. There's a third side, but I'm not too sure of it yet. And that side is of the people that are in high positions that have the ability to stop what's going on. I don't fully know what they're planning, but I do believe it's something. So anyway, let's go.
From overwhelmed mayors.
An international crisis of global population shift.
No city should be going through this, and it's not sustainable.
The growing migrant crisis, the latest boiling point in America's immigration debate. Just this past December, encounters at the border reached a record high. One of the largest groups, Venezuelans, crossing over more times last year than any other on record, many seeking asylum.
When someone applies for asylum, they have a legal right to stay in the country until that asylum claim is heard. The Venezuelan crisis is the biggest humanitarian crisis that most Americans have never heard of. We know about Syrians leaving because of the war. We know about Ukrainians leaving because of the Russian invasion. But roughly the same number of people have left Venezuela.
That is that students will be back in person in school at James Madison High School in Brooklyn tomorrow, but that's not the case today. They're learning remotely, although a lot of parents say that they believe their kids are just on TikTok. A lot of parents have said that teachers aren't even showing up for these online classes. So they say that remote learning is just a euphemism for no learning at all. And you mentioned this is all happening because the city is out of space to put illegal migrants who crossed our southern border.
And then cross over toward the U.S. side of the border. Now, the international line is in the middle of the Rio Grande. So, as you might imagine, that moves as the water levels also move. And what we've seen is that the migrants simply walk along the water by that lower level concertina wire. And normally, Boris, what they would do is they would walk on this path that's along the banks of the Rio Grande. Well, because of the concertina wire, now what we see are women and children walking on the water, being told by Texas National Guard members and members of the Texas Department of Public Safety to continue walking until south of this property, where then they are taken for processing. So the short answer is no, it is not stopping illegal immigration.
All right, first I would like to talk about the side of the migrant. Now, this side, it's not that hard for me, because I would say for the last 7 years, I've been around in the States, around a lot of illegal immigrants, migrants, whatever you want to call them, around a lot of foreigners, due to me learning Spanish. So I never really looked at there being a border crisis or anything like that. I really had apathy towards that, because I had a bias. I wanted to learn the language, and then I also played baseball, so I was always around them, you know. So, and it's also not hard for me to look at it due to me living outside the country. My family and we live out the country. If you're interested, I have another channel, and I'll leave the link in the description. And living out the country, living in Colombia and Brazil, my family and I met many people who desired to go to the United States, who desired to cross that border, you know, not do it the legal way, due to them not having the resources, not having the money to apply for visas, apply for passports. This side is not hard for me to see at all. Meeting many illegal immigrants in the States, from what I've encountered, from what I've seen, these individuals had good intentions. Back in their country, there was a plague of violence, there was a plague of unemployment, and there were no opportunities. So what did they do? They traveled with their family and crossed that border. I met a lot of single men too, up in the States, and their families was back in their country. And their idea was to get enough money and send it back they did have the intentions of sending it back, sending the money back, and building a house back where they're from. I met these individuals. And now, are all migrants like this? Well, now, when I say the side of the migrant, I'm not saying all migrants think like this. I'm not saying I met all migrants and I know all of their intentions. No, I'm not saying that at all. And if you've been looking at the news lately and what's been going on, some of these individuals have bad intentions, really bad intentions. But looking at the side of the migrant, putting myself in their shoes, seeing the conditions of Venezuelans up in Colombia was rough. That was a tough thing to see for my family and I. And it really humbled us. And we really got to think about it like, I'm a God-fearing man. I believe God does everything for a reason. There's something called geography lottery, where you ended up at, what country you ended up in, the family you grew up under. It was almost like a lottery. It was basically a lottery. Nobody chose. Nobody chose the conditions. Only God did. And a lot of times I've heard citizens say, well, why don't they go back to their country and fix their problems there? It's not that easy. If only it was that easy. And if everybody now on the same accord, it's definitely not going to happen. And if it do happen, it's going to take a very long time. And they got kids. So what they going to do? So I put myself in their shoes. If I'm in my home country, there's no opportunity. Education is not good for my child. There's no way, there's no kind of growth. There's no change in the political and the politics and how this country is ran. But I'm looking on TV, I'm looking on YouTube, and I'm seeing a country that I can reach with my family. And they're giving out housing, schooling for kids, food, cell phones. What I'm gonna do? And it's American dollar. What I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do? Now, I do believe in the process. I do believe in order. But I'm just giving you the side of the migrant, of the migrants that I've met. Believe it or not, living in Colombia, I've ended up making more Venezuelan friends than I did Colombian. And many spoke to me, hey, I desire to, take that trip there and cross that border. And each and every one of them, I told them, strive to do it the right way. Strive to do it the right way. And I say that because I do believe in the process. But at the same time, if I was in their shoes, I don't know what I would do. If I ain't got no money for no visa, I ain't got no money for no passport, my child hungry, and this country is out here giving out all this free stuff, all I'm gonna have is tunnel vision. And that's what a lot of them have. They have tunnel vision. And at the end of that tunnel is education, job opportunity, to be, living in a country that's safer than where I'm at right now. Food, better food, opportunity for my child to grow up in a safe environment and a healthy environment with a better education. That's what I see at the end of that tunnel. That's what they see. That's what a lot of them seeing. So am I mad at them? I don't blame them. Because the country is offering it. The United States is offering it. They giving it out. And I know y'all have resources to close this border up, to put a wall up. But y'all not doing it? Y'all invited me in. Y'all invited me in. So these people are willing to go through hell and high water to get what a lot of people in the United States take for granted. That's the side I see as far as the migrant side. All right, now the side of the citizens. Now, this doesn't have to do with every citizen, because not every citizen is upset that there are migrants crossing the border. Not every citizen is being affected. Some possibly are taking more advantage of this than others, especially if they see cheap labor at the end of the tunnel. Anyway, like I said, I had my bias. For years I've been around them. Like I said, my main objective was learning the language, learning the culture, so on and so forth. And the fact that them crossing the border didn't directly affect me. I didn't see no effects of it in the taxes and stuff like that. At least I didn't see, didn't notice. But now I'm seeing this issue because it's a safety issue. And yes, it's really, it's starting to really show within taxes. And like, citizens are thinking, where's this money going to? Where's all this money coming from? Who's it coming from? These are good questions. Who's crossing the border? We had I don't know if many have heard of it or seen the video, but a migrant said, if you don't know who I am, you will. He said something along those lines, but he said it in a threatening way.
You would know who I am. You are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am. Very easy.
Very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
That stuff right there, that's a person with bad intentions. Why in the world is he even getting close to the border? Would you let anybody in your house without doing any kind of investigation, vetting, or anything? You don't even want that person even getting close. But we do it in the country. Shout out to Texas for trying to do something against this. But yet, they are met with an opposition, telling them to take down barbed wire. The money is there. The money is there to build a wall, to do whatever you got to do to prevent people from crossing the border. They're not putting it there. Other people getting that money, Ukraine, Israel, that money going there. But when it comes to protecting your own citizens, come on now. So on the side of the citizens, I see it's affecting taxes. It's a slap to the face to the homeless, to the veterans. I see it. I definitely see it. And now there's been violence going on in certain cities where these migrants are at. There's been violence going on in cities, but these crimes are being committed by migrants. Do you know who you let in the country? A lack of a process, that's what it is. Outside of order is chaos. And that's exactly what we got in the States. But I wonder if it's ordered chaos. Just going into the third side that I see. And I can't 100% figure it out, only the Lord knows. But ain't no way this could be going down. Ain't no way this could be going down and nothing be playing. It's funny. In order for me to live in Colombia, in order for me to live in Brazil, I have to go through a process. I have to show them background checks from my home country to make sure, I'm not a criminal or anything like that. I have to show them a medical certificate showing that I'm in, good shape. I'm good. In other words, I'm not going to be using up their country's resources, medical resources. I'm not going to be a burden to that country. I have to show them financial stability, that I'm able to financially sustain myself and my family. I have to show them these things in order to even apply. But anybody can come on into the United States? Every country, at least that I know of, in Central and South America, you have to go through a process. You have to show these things. And to the people who, applied and did it the right way and had to wait and had to be rejected, yo, I salute you. I salute you. You know, because it's not easy. I met probably almost every individual that I've met who've applied, at least been denied once. And that's not easy because it's not cheap. And they all told me they had no real reason of why they denied it. The U.S. denied their visa. But they kept trying. And I understand that the individuals who are crossing the border, they probably don't have that money. They probably don't have the money to continue to try. They probably don't have a job to get the money to continue to try, or so on and so forth. I met an individual, I would say almost 2 months ago. They denied him 3 times. Never gave him a reason. On his 4th time he did it, he reapplied and they let him. They gave him the visa. And he's going to the States in a couple months, legally. So people who are crossing illegally is almost it's disrespectful. It's almost like a slap to the face, in the face of the people who have done it legally. You know what I mean? So it's a slap to the face to those individuals. It's a slap to the people who actually are seeking asylum. And like I said, though I don't agree with crossing a border illegally, because it's illegal, there has to be order. There has to be. I don't know what I would do if I was in my country and I'm hearing of another country that I can reach with my family, them giving them housing, schooling, food, and so on and so forth, just opportunity. What would I do? And just a side note, how would you feel if you worked 10 hours and the only thing you come out with is $10? How would you feel? Would that get you 2 boxes of cereal? Some toilet paper maybe? I have a barber back in Colombia, good friend of mine. His haircuts at the time was $2.50. He did a heck of a job. He really cared about his craft. And he asked me, and I felt bad too, how much is this? How much is this cut in the States? I said, bro, this run you about $40. And then with tip. I mean, that's not even include the tip. The thing is about Colombia, I tried to give tips to my barbers various times. They won't accept it. So you can imagine what that sparked inside of them. Now, granted, you may be thinking, well, the cost of living ain't the same. True, cost of living ain't the same. But at the same time, that wasn't getting him nowhere. That was getting him just survival mode. So you can imagine what that spark inside of individuals. Especially if I know I can reach your country. Now, granted, yes, you got to learn the language, so on and so forth. And yes, I do believe in doing the process the right way. But when the United States haven't made it apparent that they don't want migrants, by not building a wall, by not putting resources towards that, towards blocking them, and then on top of that, you know, giving them housing, food, education, opportunity. What you think? And yo, we do the same thing. If you think about it on the reverse side. Now, granted, yeah, of course we do it the right way because we got the resources to do it the right way. But we like our dollar stretching. I'm talking about for those who are expats, those who like visiting countries where the cost of living is cheaper. We like seeing our dollar stretch because we see the lack of that in our country. You know what I mean? Our dollars don't go nowhere. So we want to go somewhere where the dollar appreciates more. They doing the opposite. They want to go somewhere where they could work and get more for what they, you know, get more money for their work. So I get it. I get it. They low-key doing the opposite. Unfortunately, a lot of them doing it, you know, in order to do that, in order to go get that American dollar, they're going about it the illegal way. We're fortunate to do it the right way due to us having the money, having the resource, the very thing that they're shooting for. I see both sides, man. Third side, I'm not too sure about, but I see both. And to the citizens, a lot of it is a slap to the face to them. They working, they busting their butt, they barely making ends meet. They barely can pay their rent, pay for food, inflation. So, yo, and then they seeing migrants get all this free stuff. Yeah, it's messed up on both sides. I see it. And like, I'm still learning, you know, I'm still learning about everything. But like I said, I feel like it's more going on than what we think. Something is being planned, something is being put in place. I truly believe that something is being put in place, unfortunately. Only the Lord knows. That's why I pray, man, yo, we stick close to the Lord, stick close to God, you know. That's what's most important. So, all in all, where do I stand? I stand with order. I stand with order. I stand with a process. There has to be a process. And I can't be more mad at the migrants than I can at my government. I believe there's a motive. And I believe the U.S. has created its own problem, has created a problem that they already have a solution for. They just needed a reason